Now, I'm not one to read Shonen Jump series.
Yeah, because it's for plebs.
Well, no need for that. It is true, though. Still, I'm in the same boat with all of you. But only because Assassination Classroom is worth it, because it's one of the most unique series to come from Shonen Jump. And that's mainly why I'm excited about its upcoming anime adaptation, but let's get into a bit more detail. Assassination Classroom is a story about a class of misfit students attempting to assassinate their teacher to prevent the Earth from being destroyed. The twist being that the teacher is an extremely powerful octopus-like monster that even the military can't defeat. Which, by the way, is a total ripoff of Tentacles and Witches. I mean, whatever happened to originality? It's just gone. I mean, just look at those tentacles! Talk about unoriginal! I'm still into it, though. Jokes aside, Assassination Classroom is incredible at making great use of its potential-filled premise by offering its surreal, over-the-top weirdness comedically through the well-done use of character quirks, sight gags, and its own ridiculousness. And assuming that it's a faithful adaptation, it'll manage to outdo itself every episode in wacky zaniness by presenting it in ways you never expect. And then there's the more heartwarming and mature side to Assassination Classroom, where Kuro-sensei bonds with the students and teaches them many things, such as the value of individualism. And for the most part, it gracefully handles this blend of serious and silly content well. And despite my worries about the somewhat inconsistent Studio Lurch handling the production, Seiji Kishi is directing, which is usually not something to celebrate about, but I do have faith in him for comedy. He's brilliant at it, and he's perfect for Assassination Classroom. I have high hopes this adaptation will rival its source material or even exceed it due to the change in medium, and if it doesn't, we can always just assassinate Kishi. Bang bang. I still haven't managed to fully grasp the idea that Rolling Girls actually will exist in about a week. Just for a second, let's just take everything in that is Rolling Girls. Okay, so it takes place 10 years after the Great Tokyo War, whatever the fuck that is, and control for each prefecture in Japan is competed over by different groups. Different groups being like guys in colorful tights, the Lolly Yakuza, the Emoto Mafia, the Oni-chan Brigade. I don't even know. But what I do know is that our cast of main characters are just cute girls riding motorcycles around to mediate the competitions. And if you're a logical person, you would obviously come to the same conclusion as I, that that means Yuri. Okay, maybe that's just me being delusional as always, but still, I'm allowed to hope. You can't take that away from me. But seriously, it looks to be absolutely ridiculous in a genuinely amusing way. It's obviously a vibrant and colorful world brimming with energy, the perfect setting for using the absurdness of its core concept to great effect. Well, Glenn, objectively, this is going to be a bad show. Shut up, you no fun having elitist prick! Oh wait, where was I? Oh yeah, Rolling Girls. Looks to be incredibly energetic, which powers its overly bizarre tone, which just makes it seem so ambitious in a weird, different kind of way than usual. Regardless, Rolling Girls will definitely be a chaotic, fun ride. Now, you're probably looking at this and thinking, another cute girls show, how will this be different from the last, Glenn? And well, let's take a short look. First off, it's an all-girls cast, which implies what exactly? That's right, Y-U-R-I, Yuri, lesbians. And who's the renowned person for loving cute anime girls kissing each other? Obama. And what's Obama a part of? The Illuminati. Which means the director, Akiyuki Shinbo, has finally made his way into the Illuminati and has access to their funds. And Shinbo started this trend of slice-of-life Yuri undertone shows with Hidamari Sketch, meaning that Kofika Graffiti will be an insanely well-produced Hidamari Sketch, where they shove food into their mouths lewdly. And that was all a blatant lie. Well, except for the food part. I just really adore cute anime girls loving other cute anime girls, and it's not an obsession, okay? Yuri is just life. Obama's got my back on this. But seriously though, Kofika Graffiti is obviously a show that won't aspire to be much more than relaxing and simply enjoyable. And it doesn't need to be much more than that, but just the idea of basically combining cute anime girls and Super Size Me is absolutely captivating to me. And then throw in the crazy Shinbo and Shaft visuals and it's a sales pitch I couldn't possibly resist. I guess you could say I'm hungry for Kofika Graffiti. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. I try, okay? I try. I'm an avid fan of fantasy, and Dog Days is brimming with so much fantasy that its own world surpasses reality. Not to say the series is brilliant at world building or anything, but it's just that the world is so interesting from the very beginning. Well, at least to me. I mean, everyone has their fetishes, and I'm not saying animal girls are one of mine, maybe dog girls in particular, but you gotta admit they're cute. Joking aside, the world is just one of those settings that you thought up of when you were saving the princess from that evil wizard as a kid, and it's surreal to see your imagined world polished and brought back to life. It'd be exactly what you recall from those hazy memories. Fun, clever, and stylish, and a vibrant cast of whimsical creatures and people, and then a vast kingdom within a fantastical world that can't even be contained by a child's imagination. It's an adventure of fun that simultaneously elaborates the show's beautiful world while pushing the central narrative forward without the loss of its fun. Dog Days is defined by its constant fun, and I'm so glad it's back to bring the same compelling fun it had through the first 2 seasons. The director for this has already leaked that the story structure will be quite different from the original Idolmaster, this time focusing on an overarching story rather than the previous season that highlighted each character, giving everybody their time to shine, which is honestly what I absolutely adored about the original, but I'm more than willing to give this a shot since the characters are similar to the original in that they have pre-established personalities and character chemistry that you're just meant to accept, which usually is not that good of a thing, but it did it extremely well. It had complete mastery of small, subtle character moments that made the show one of the best Idol shows ever, mainly because it was more than a normal Idol show. It was an Idol show with actual direction. It had a clear goal and accomplished it with splendid execution. And Cinderella Girls probably won't be any different. It had a tangible sense of enthusiasm that elevated its standard premise far beyond what one would expect. And I expect the same from Cinderella Girls and, oh yeah, the all-girl cast, which means Yuri. Well, at least to me. You gotta give me this one, guys. I haven't had an anime like Sakura Trick in a few seasons. I'm seriously dying over here. Do you want me to go to the hospital and tell the doctor... not enough anime girl lesbians, and him tell me to shut the fuck up? I don't want that. Seriously though, I'm looking forward to it. For the second time, let's take a moment to just bask in the glory of Kanko's completely amazing concept. Cute anime girls with the power of ships, like aircraft carriers, battleships, and destroyers. All of that power packed into the small body of a cute girl. This is probably the most amazing concept to ever grace my ears, or maybe I'm the only one excited because I'm a bit of a big fan of the game, or maybe I just like shipping ship girls. That's like double the shippage. And then adding on to that, there are no male characters. So yeah, potential Yuri. Why does it always come back to this? Because it's me? Probably. But seriously, this may seem like a dumb comedy at first, but it very much has the potential to evolve into something far grander by perfectly blending its silliness and action into an actually fascinating, previously unexperienced narrative. By blending both slice of life and its narrative elements, it could make for a diverse experience that can actually have momentum from the slice of life moments, building actual weight on the story and giving you a reason to actually be invested in it. Or it could just be a clumsy mess, in which case it's time to abandon this sinking ship. Did you get that one? Because they're ship girls? Oh, that was a terrible joke. But you know what's not going to be terrible? Kanko, because I'm going to have fun with it no matter what. The third season of Kuroko no Basket, which if you couldn't guess, is about buff, sweaty young men throwing balls at each other. Literally. Well, except there's a bit more to it than that. Simplified, it's the usual sports story about winning the tournament, but executed far better than most others of the same kind. It keeps its story to the fundamentals of a very small number of characters developing and bouncing off one another, but in doing so leaves behind a large number of the cast. But this sacrifice isn't meaningless though, as it allows for the story to progress smoothly without unnecessary interruption and only bringing focus to the important aspects. Which is most prominently the games themselves, which have a great sense of weight in spite of their fantastical nature, which is what I adore about it. It's absolutely ridiculous what they pull off, and it's a device that allows for unpredictability. The conflicts of the story isn't only the collision of the players' physical bodies in the court, but also a powerful mental crash between past friends' ideas of what playing basketball is truly about. It's a truly inspiring story of one shared passion that unites many interesting and diverse personalities. It's Kuroko no Basket, the third season. Yuri Kuma Arashi, also known as Love Bullet, and also known as Yuri Bearstorm, also known as Who the Fuck Has Time to Be Subtle, Motherfucking Lesbians! And also, Ikuhara is finally back, a director who I have great respect for, and one who is undeniably talented, and it's apparent that his artistic thumbprint is all over this show. Oh no, this is supposed to be PG-13, that's way too lewd, Ikuhara, no, this isn't E-head, cut! Okay, sorry about that. Ikuhara has a tendency to be... God damn it, Ikuhara! I love Yuri too, but this is just going a bit far. This is... Alright, now that we're finally past the lewd, to get why I, and you, should be excited for this requires some knowledge about Ikuhara's past shows that you've probably, hopefully already heard of. Most recently, Penguin Drum, which was an exercise in pure artistic creativity. Its uniqueness and unconventional screenplay alone were enough to get my full appreciation of it, but it also took steps into ambiguous themes regarding society, human nature, and much more. But Ikuhara's most defining show is Revolutionary Girl Utena, a show that regardless of taste, regardless of sense, and regardless of marketability, was a revelation for its time that paved the way for where the industry is today by tackling controversial themes of gender identity, gender roles, and just one's identity in general. Ikuhara's previous shows, although some of my favorites, definitely have some heavy mistakes, but those mistakes are far outweighed by the raw creativity Ikuhara brings with each show of his. Ikuhara has consistently produced rich and ambiguous narratives, and it rewards viewers for bringing their own priorities, but regardless of how much you invest in it, questions will always remain. But he's always able to give me something I've never seen before, and provoke my mind in ways it's never been provoked before. His shows are vague, and concrete answers are difficult to find, but ultimately, the interpretations I'm forced to conjure up are the experience, are the show, and it's an experience like no other. Yuri Bearstorm deserves my excitement. Oh, fuck, Ikuhara, seriously?! Death Parade is a sequel remake type thing to a short called Death Billiards that was produced for Anime Mirai 2013, also known as the Young Animator Project. But Death Billiards was sadly overshadowed by Trigger's Little Witch Academia, and no one took too much notice of it. But now it's returning as a full TV series, which is intriguing because Death Billiards was so self-contained that means Death Parade will definitely have to introduce some new interesting variables. And I'm very ready to see what they come up with. But at the same time, it has the potential to be aimless and ultimately never come together as a full engaging story, mainly due to what sadly looks as though it possibly being in the episodic format, which isn't particularly a bad thing because the one episode OVA was overall a really flattering and rewarding experience, due to it forcefully engaging me with many of my own values by making use of mature themes like equality and what it is to be human, which it accomplishes that by having the story focus on two individuals who died at the same time, compete in purgatory for whether they'll go to heaven or hell. And although that works really well with an episodic format, it's just that I much prefer an overarching plot to keep me consistently engrossed, besides hit or miss episodic stories. But we'll just have to wait and see for now. Looks like Death Billiards is right. Life isn't fair for making us wait, because I want to watch it now. Death Parade comes soon. 5 years later, the highly acclaimed Dorararararara makes its return, and what a tremendous return it is with the announcement of 3 split curs, which is obviously fantastic news, but there's some iffy variables to address. Let's start with the good news. Takahiro is thankfully returning as director. Next, the it's probably okay news. The scripts are being done by a different person. Luckily, it's Nobuo Takagi, known for his script work on Baccano, which is quite fitting due to both Dorarara and Baccano's author being the same person. Now, on to the this could be bad, but maybe not news. The production studio is changing. It'll no longer be Brain's Base, and is now being handled by Studio Shuka, which is a completely new studio, and this is their first production. But a lot of the staff of Studio Shuka is made up of former staff from Brain's Base, so it's probably fine. So, enough of that, let's talk about Dorarara. Dorarara's most important element is the fantastic cast, all individually compelling for their various distinctive lovable quirks, but with such a large cast of prominent characters, the narrative is constantly shifting from one to another, and the amount of information you're constantly absorbing sometimes becomes overwhelming. But endure that, and you'll notice that the riveting central narrative is so engrossing due to its conflicts naturally emerging directly out of those characters, because of them being trapped by their hang-ups, their inexperience, or even their enthralling past. Though I often feel as though some characters fade into the background because of its storytelling pretensions. It does all work in service of the incredibly compelling central narrative. Dorarara was a gateway for many anime fans, and there's a pistol as black as the night sky filled to the brim with expectations pointed directly at this sequel. And I'm certain it'll disarm the perpetrators with its brilliant, gripping narrative that compares to no other, just as the first season did. Dorarara's back. Hey guys, Glenn here, and oh god, I'm dying from a cold. Either that or I overdosed on Yuri, which is kinda probable. So I'm sorry if the audio doesn't sound that great because of it, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you like me, go like me on the Facebooks. No promise that it won't be lewd, though. Or if you want to talk to me and see what I'm up to, follow me on the Twitters, because I'm basically on that 24/7 already anyway. Alright, thanks for watching guys. I'll catch you next time if this cold doesn't kill me. Please bury me with my Dakimakuras.